And we are live. Welcome to Kuntry Klub Live. Today we have David from glitch.org.uk. I believe that's right. The link is in the description below. This is the man that designed the Mark II. Well, I guess there was a Mark I, the Mark II Stargate and the Stargate Atlantis, the ones that dial and lock in. And we're gonna let him tell us a little bit about himself, and then we'll get into some questions. How about that? All right, David, here you go.
Hello, everyone.
Well, you didn't say much.
Oh no, I was just waiting for some feedback, some applause, maybe.
Oh yeah, so okay. I don't have any sounds hooked up on my thing.
Right.
So
this is actually my first live stream on YouTube, so I am a newbie to this.
it's okay. I've been doing it for a year and I'm still not good at it, so it's okay. All right, so since I got into 3D printing, and I've only been 3D printing since 2017. Okay, the Mark II is one of the things that I've wanted to do. All right, that was one of the first things that I saw. And I was like, I need to print this. Well, at the time, I didn't have a printer that would print it. Well, it would, but I'd have had to do supports and like mass amounts of supports, and it would have taken forever to print because the bed wasn't big enough. But I am now printed it all, and I'm going to get started on it. But let's talk about you, because from your bio on Glitch, it is glitch.org.uk, right? I believe that's right.
Yes, that's right. All the other websites were already taken, so I had to settle on that.
Okay. So it says on there that 3D printing is a hobby, which is fine. I mean, that's pretty much everybody. It's a hobby. Yeah, unless you're lucky enough to get that as a job. But so what got you into 3D printing?
Well, I've always had a hobby of 3D modeling. I did try a little bit of animation a long time ago, but didn't have a PC powerful enough to let you do much of it. Then when I seen the 3D printers, I thought, well, that's something I could try and get involved in. Maybe if I get in early enough, I can do some good stuff with it. So yeah, it was just mainly an evolution from 3D modeling in CAD and stuff like that. Okay,
so I mean, now you did some 3D modeling and some animation or whatever, but what do you do for a living? I mean, is that your day job?
No, my day job is tech support.
Tech support. I just got off the phone for an hour with tech support, and they still didn't fix my problem.
I would have fixed it for you.
I know. It's amazing to me. You call and you say, "Look, my modem was working," and then they're like, "Okay, can you reboot your modem? Can you reboot your router?" That's about the extent of their tech support. But so your journey started. I don't know, when did you start? 2016, I guess, on the Stargate.
No, I think the first Stargate was 2012.
Oh, okay. I looked at the Mark II. I think was one of them was 2016 or something like that.
Yeah, well, I bought. I started with a MakerBot cupcake printer. Now, unfortunately, I got that the month they brought out the next one up. So I designed the Stargate, but I couldn't actually print it on the cupcake. The quality I could get out of it wasn't good enough to print it. So yeah, probably in 2016, then I got a MakerBot replicator, so a prefab printer. I didn't need to assemble it or anything. And I thought, like, right, if I'm going to print the Stargate, I may as well improve it.
Right. Well, so why the Stargate? I mean, you have to be a Stargate fan in order to do that, because it's pretty detailed. I mean, it's an intricate model.
Well, obviously the model the detail is designed based on what I thought I could print at the time. So yeah, I had to remove some of the detail, I guess, to get it to print. That also resulted in the size it is today. the size as what I thought the glyphs and all that could actually print at.
Right. Yeah. All the guys are looking at your gates dialing in the background. They're giving me crap about it because mine's not. It's just over here. So,
Well, unfortunately, the gate, it's not attached to the base, so all it's doing is that light show. Unfortunately, the base had a disagreement with my cat.
yeah, no, I get it. Now, I was telling you that my plan is to put mine in a diorama so that, you can do the surrounding and stuff like that, make it look more like a Stargate setting than just the Stargate. So when you started on the Stargate, though, your initial plan was to make a dialing Stargate. Is that right? You just set out and you're like, okay, I can make one of these that'll dial.
No, I think I made one that would fit on the cupcake print bed first. So that one didn't have any detail on it as such, and then the urge came to make it dial. So
Okay. I'm trying to keep track of questions here that people are asking. So, because they are asking questions, but we'll get to those at the end.
yes, no problem.
Give me just a notepad. Oh, come on. Windows doesn't like me today. I've had more problems with internet today than I care to ever have again.
Well, I can see some of the questions on my other monitor. So
say again.
I can see some of the questions on the monitor.
Yeah. So now, do you have any other things that you've designed and put out other than the Stargates? I mean, I go over to your glitch.org, but I don't know, how much stuff do you actually have out there?
Well, everything on Glitch.org is all the stuff I've released to Thingiverse. Okay,
so that's all you've released to Thingiverse.
Yeah, so it started with Millennium Falcon. I think I designed some poker chips, and then went onto the Stargate.
All right, so what are you like right now? What printers do you have now? Just the replicator or duplicator?
Yeah, it's just the replicator, which is sat beside me here.
Yeah. So you're in tech support. You did some 3D modeling earlier on, I guess, before you had 3D printers and that type of thing.
Yeah.
And now what do you do with them mostly? What do you do with your 3D printers now? I mean, you're not just printing Stargates all the time.
To be honest, I don't have a lot of time to do much with them, so it kind of sits there not being used most of the time, I'm afraid.
Right. Now, the build volume on that, because I was looking at the you have a working Stargate MK2 single gate parts, right? Where you put them all in one, the rings are all in one.
Yeah, that was a request from a lot of people on Thingiverse.
Yeah, you have to have a really big printer to do that.
Yeah, I agree. Which is why I didn't originally release that.
Because mine, I've got the Tebow Little Monster back here, and it's 340 millimeters wide, and I can't print them in one shot.
Well, the MakerBot I've got, it will print the base. The single base is the biggest it will print.
Right.
But unfortunately, that started to curl up in the corners, which is why I split it in half. So
yeah, I've been lucky. The guys that are on here, Andrew S., as a matter of fact, he sent me all of the LEDs pre-soldered. I can't see the soldering points on the LEDs that you have. I mean, they're like tiny. So that's a good question. When you designed it, did you think about putting in bigger LEDs?
I did, but obviously that would have made the size of the gate much bigger.
Yeah. So on Atlantis, I noticed that on the Atlantis gate, there's, according to what you have, there's like 127 LEDs or something like that.
Yes, I used NeoPixels on the Atlantis gates, so they're much easier to solder because I bought them on the strip.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you cut the strip and just solder to the tags on the strip.
Now designing the mechanism for the gate, because I think that's one of the coolest things about the Mark II is the way the chevron actually works. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
that's a cool mechanism that you did there. The way that you have the slides made is really awesome. So the Arduino code that's in there, I mean, you wrote all of that too, I guess.
Um, yeah, I think obviously I used some examples because that was the very first time I ever used an Arduino, which is why the Mark I gate doesn't have any electronics at all.
Yeah, because I've never used the Arduino motor shield. I mean, I've always used like a ramps board or something like that. So I don't even know how to wire the motors to the shield yet. So what do you are you working on any projects like in your spare time now? Any new designs that may be coming out?
I have a new design. It's very early stages. I have a sample I can probably grab very quickly. 2 seconds.
Okay.
So I don't know if you'll see the sample on the video, but whether people
Oh
will
yeah.
know what that might be.
Well, it's part of a gate.
Which gate?
I don't know if it's Universe. I couldn't tell you because I never watched Universe.
Well, it is Universe.
Well, see, I got about 3 episodes into Universe, and I was like, yeah, no, I don't care for this. So I didn't do the Universe thing so much. But so
I quite liked it, actually.
Say again.
I quite liked Universe. I thought it was quite
Did
good.
you? Well, it would have been great had they kept it going, but it was more, it was broken up. It was like season 1 and then season 2 and then season 2.1, and it was kind of crazy the way they did it because it got canceled and then re-upped, and it was hard to follow some. So what's your timeline look like coming out on that one? And does it have mechanisms as well, like the MK2? Because like I said, I don't know anything about the Universe Stargate.
Well, the Universe Stargate spins completely. The entire gate spins.
Okay.
So there will be a mechanism on it, but that piece I showed you is the limit of the gate at the moment. I need to design and get detail that can print. Some of my detail hasn't come out very good, so I need to redesign obviously the quality there.
Yeah.
That could be a long way off. Obviously, it depends on time.
So you just do it in your spare time, just whenever you get around to working on it, that's when you do it.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay.
Well, I mean that's pretty much everybody here. I think everybody does that. And before we get too far, that the first question from Techie Dad was pretty good. Any thoughts on doing a wiring package to order?
For the gate?
Yeah.
Well, obviously the problem is time again. So I hadn't really thought of doing one now.
Oh, okay. Because I've actually got one of the guys here. Forgot his name. I forgot who it was. I'd have to look at the package. But he actually made me a circuit board that has everything laid out in it, so I can solder my components on it, and then just wire it in, and it should be good to go.
Yeah, I think there's a GitHub someone's created with a Raspberry Pi running the gate. I think I'm not sure if there's a circuit board on that. I've seen someone with a printed circuit board.
Oh wow. Yeah, I can see the Raspberry Pi being fun to do. It's kind of overkill for what you're doing though. Because I've seen a couple of people have taken taking it steps further than what you did. I've seen, guys with dialing on a tablet, wirelessly on a tablet.
Yeah,
The DHD add-on for your gate, which I have printed and it's made here as well. Yeah. Now you didn't do the DHD, right? Somebody else did that.
somebody else did that. I have a load of buttons and LEDs that I could potentially make a DHD out of, but yeah, I never actually got around to it.
Well, one thing that I've noticed with the print of the DHD is it's proportionally it's not proportional to the gate size. It's quite large because you got to put all the electronics inside of there with a speaker and everything else. So it's a little bigger than what the gate is proportionally. So do these, and I also noticed on your website that you were talking about in the FAQs about the selling of this model. Do you run into that very much? People selling your models?
No one's. I've not seen anyone sell the model, but I've had loads of people ask if they can sell the model.
You've had loads of people ask you?
Yeah.
But I think more so even than you, I think you run into an issue with the people that own Stargate, right?
That's what I tell them every time. I say, I don't own the rights to the Stargate. I own the model, this particular model,
right?
But not obviously what it's based on. So yeah, I can't give you permission to sell it.
Oh, sorry, I've been sick the last couple of days. I'm still not feeling great.
Anyway,
so
you're looking great there, Walter.
Yeah. So what's the biggest request, and do you still have as much interest now as you did when it first came out, or is it more? Because I think 3D printing has become more prevalent even since you released the model. So it's like, okay, there's a lot more people with 3D printers now than there were then. So do you get more requests now, or has it slowed down and that type of thing?
It's stayed steady, to be honest. I mean, I always check online occasionally to see who's using the gate. Do people have any problems with it? Which is where I came across your video.
Oh wow! Well, I appreciate you joining in. I mean, I'm not the best at organization, so I get sidetracked a lot. I'll start on something and then it gets set aside and I start on something else. I've got like 10 projects in here that need to finish, like this one that's on my desk. I was actually, and you were right. You asked me if I was supposed to stream on Tuesday, and I was, but I was in the bed all day Tuesday running a fever. And yeah, there was no way I was coming to stream on Tuesday. I am feeling better today, this afternoon. So that is better.
Yeah, I'm glad you're feeling better. But if you're not feeling well, it's not worth it. You just make yourself worse.
No, I get you. So, all right. So now we can, oh man, it's hot in here. I don't know about where you are, but it's hot here.
Well, it's 11 p.m., so it's not too bad here.
Not too bad there. It's my daughter's in Ireland. She said she can't wait until she gets back and it's 90 degrees. I'm like, nah, it's just stinking hot here.
I assume that's Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
I think it would be 65 here.
Oh yeah, that would be nice.
Well, probably cooling down because of the night. But yeah, I think about 65 in the day at the moment.
So, question, and Carl brought this up because I actually wanted to scale up the gate. I wanted to make it bigger, but I'm not good at 3D modeling, so I'd have to like change the way the motor mounts or the base and all that stuff, and I'm not any good at that. Have you ever thought about making a bigger one?
I haven't, no, but I believe people have scaled it up, and if you scale every part the same, I believe it would work.
Yeah, but the motor mounts and stuff like that couldn't work if you scaled every part the same, right? You'd have to scale up your motors.
Yeah, so yeah, you'd have to obviously raise the motors, but I believe some people have printed them at 150% on Thingiverse. There's some examples there. One person who couldn't print the electronics actually put put some perspex in them and use them to get some signatures, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, no doubt. And see, that would be cool to me if I get this done and then I can get it signed by some of the people on Stargate. That would be awesome to me. I think I could get David to come to Earth and sign it. That would be awesome. But I would really need to do the Atlantis one, and I'm not doing it. I'm doing the Mark II.
I'd have to bring mine over and get him to sign mine instead then, was it?
Right. So do you go to any of the 3D printing shows or conventions or anything that they have there? I'm assuming you're in the UK, right?
In the UK, yeah. No, I've never been to a 3D printing show.
Really?
No, I've been to some sci-fi shows a long time ago, but no, I've.
Well, see, now if you went to the sci-fi shows and you had these sitting there at the sci-fi shows, I think you would get a lot of people into 3D printing that don't 3D print now. I think you would drum up a lot of interest in 3D printing.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way, but yeah.
Because, one, they're already into sci-fi, so that's cool enough. But then you bring a Stargate that actually dials, yeah, they would be all over that. I mean, you'd be one of the hits of the show, I'm sure.
And they also work as well.
Yeah, well, they'd be great.
If you put them back to back, you can pass something through them.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, no doubt. Well, I actually one of the guys here, Andrew S. again, he made me a disc that fits inside the Stargate, and the electronics that when you dial it and it finishes dialing, it shimmers the blue lights off of a background and blows smoke out in the middle of the ring. So I think that's going to be cool. Yeah, I'm hoping we get all of that done and working.
There's smoke in the universe gate, so I was thinking about what to do for that. But I did consider. Have you seen those LED panels that they polarize when you apply current? I'll take it away.
Say that again.
Have you seen those LED panels, which they clear, and then you can change them to opaque?
Oh yeah. That would be awesome.
I thought of mounting one of those in the middle and maybe using a projector to project the wormhole onto it.
That would be cool. All right, I'm being asked for links here, so let me go get the link. Here, I'm just going to post this link here. So, as far as 3D printers, so do you have any like dreams about getting new 3D printers? Are you happy with your duplicator that you have?
I was looking at a resin printer, or possibly a newer printer. The problem with the MakerBot is it still needs a raft, and on some small prints, half the print time is the raft.
Yeah. Well, I did, and I don't know if I have it here where I can get to it. I did a print on the resin printer of one of the gate pieces. I don't have it right here where I can get to it.
I seen it in one of your videos as I was browsing.
Say again?
I saw it in one of your videos when I was
when you were browsing?
When I was browsing, yeah.
Well, and I would love to print the whole thing in the resin print because it would be so much cleaner. The problem that I run into was the gear mechanism with the symbols on it. It won't fit. No matter what I do, it won't fit on my resin printer. So I would have to cut it. I would have to cut it in two and print, in half each one of them.
I think someone has uploaded to Thingiverse, has split the symbols in half, make them smaller.
Oh, okay. Well, I'd have to look and see, because I printed a couple of the face pieces, and they were awesome. I mean, they were so crisp and clean. It was just awesome. And I don't know if you got to see it or not, but I printed the lenses for the lights in the resin printer. with
I
clear.
saw the simple piece, but not the chevron. No.
Yeah, no, the chevron lenses, the glass pieces in the chevrons, and the chevrons themselves are all printed in the resin printer, and they are very clean as well, which is pretty awesome.
Well, have a look. If you can't find any of the smaller pieces on Thingiverse, just let me know, and I'll let me know some build sizes, and I'll cut them up for you.
Okay, it would take forever to print on the resin printer, but if you can get, because you have to lean them like at a 45-degree angle, so I could print like a couple of them at one time, but it would take I think it would take longer on the resin printer than it does on a regular printer.
You can't print them flat on the bed, can you? Or?
No, I can't. It's only what is it, 120 by 70, I think, on the resin printer. And they won't. They won't. Yeah, it's only what is it, 125 tall. So it's a very small build area. Now there are bigger resin printers. I just don't have the money for those.
No, that's always a problem. I was looking at one, and yeah, it was about £500-600, I think it was. Yeah,
and that's the one I've got. It's a $500 resin printer, and it's just a really small one. I mean, nothing major. It's just small. But everything else I've got will print like the full size base, in one print, and then I can print the pieces a bunch on the bed at one time. So not too bad.
I'm thinking of making some modifications to the base, because after having it here for a few years, I noticed it leans forward.
The gate leans forward?
It leans forward, yeah. So the side panels on the base stretch out a little bit. So I think it needs a little bit more support on the front of the front of the base.
So and I guess that's it's always a work in progress, right? Because you get done and you're like, okay, that's great, but then you like you said, you start seeing, well, that's leaning forward, or I could have done this a little different. So you want to make changes. But how hard is that? How hard is that to do? How hard is it to go back and say, okay, I need to make changes to this. This needs to be fixed when it's already working and it's been out there for quite a while now.
It depends on which piece you're changing. To make changes to the base would be relatively simple, and I'd upload that as a separate model so people would have a choice which one to use. And obviously, I'd try my best to make it compatible so that you could still do it.
Right. Well, see, and that's one thing I've been looking at, because like in the diorama that I'm thinking about doing, I'm going to have to bury the base in the diorama, because I want the gate to actually go in the ground like they do in a lot of the scenes. It's going to be an outdoor scene, so you won't really see the base at all. It'll all be underneath in the diorama. So that I was looking at something like that, and I'm like, well, if it was, more compact and didn't have all the front steps and all that other stuff, and it was just the mechanism itself, it would be a lot easier for me. But that's just for me. So, I mean, it's no big deal. So if you had your choice, of printers, or just printers, what would be your choice right now if you were to go and say, I want a printer? And I'm not going to say money's not an object, because then you go, okay, I want a Stratasys that I can print this whole thing and blah, blah, blah. But just consumer grade printers, what would be your choice right now for a printer that would upgrade where you are?
I've not done a lot of research on the various printers, to be honest. So it's a hard thing to pick a specific one. But I assume something more efficient, maybe something that you didn't need to print a base on, something decent enough quality and quick enough.
Okay. So, but I mean,
the size of the one I've got is okay if you cut things up. So,
well, okay. What about size wise? I mean, you would want to go up to size, but like you can get a CR10 S5, which is 500 by 500 by 500, and I mean that's a massive printer.
But yeah, that's the problem then. Where do you put it?
So I mean, is that something that you would want? Is bigger like that, or just something that does a better job, even if it's the same size?
Probably something that does a better job of the same size. I mean, more people have printed my designs than I've printed, so to have a bigger printer, I wouldn't be able to make use of it if I'm planning to release designs for other people to print.
Right. Well, see, one of the biggest things that I've had when building this, or looking at how to do this gate and all that. I mean, other than your model, your videos on how it goes together, there's not a lot out there. There's nobody has done like a build series on it or anything of that nature. And I think that's one of the reasons that I'm doing mine, because at the end, when it's done, I'll do a playlist and say, okay, these are the videos, not as a step-by-step, but more of a here, watch my mistakes and do it better type thing. Have you ever thought about doing one of those, like just sitting down and filming, you putting together one, or something of that nature, just a straight tutorial on how to put it together?
I haven't, no. Obviously, the problem, the gate is glued together, and I think it took over 100 hours to print it the first time.
Right.
So print another one just to do a video. As I said, time is not really a friend of mine at the moment. So
yeah, no, I get you. Well, I mean, I think once I get one together, I think that that would be a good series to have out there. I think it would get a lot of views. I think a lot of people would be interested in it, because most of the ones that you see online are, when you search for your Stargate, is it working? Somebody dialing it up or something of that nature. You know what I mean? Nobody has actually sat down and done a how-to video on this thing.
no, I think people like the animation, as you said, the one that shows how to assemble it. I mean, you can't really get any more basic, I guess, than showing how the pieces go together. So I assume maybe you're talking about the wiring or the electronics.
Yeah, wiring, electronics, where the LEDs mount inside the gate. Where do I glue those down to? Where do I put that drop of super glue to hold the lights at?
Well, that'll be dependent on the size of your LED and where it lines up with the right holes.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my biggest thing is it's just the wiring and that type of thing. Because I'm not, like I said, I'm not an electronics guru. I'm not a guru in anything. Actually, I don't purport to be. But that's my biggest thing is I don't know anything about the electronics that goes in it. I can look at the Arduino code and I know what it does. Yeah, 0603 SMDs. But these guys have been really supportive about it. They get on me all the time, because every stream I have, they're like, "Why aren't you working on the Stargate?" So, all right. So if they have any questions, I've already asked you the two that I copied down. But if anybody has any questions for David, now's the time to start posting them in here so we can start answering those. I really do want to get this finished. We have a 3D printing convention in October in Maryland, which is a 16-hour drive from here. But I really want to get this and take it to that 3D printing convention and have it there for people to look at. I think I can do it between now and October with everything printed and everything like that. I believe I can get it to go.
Yeah, as you said, it's the wiring is the issue, but I'm sure you can manage that, Walter.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I'll figure it out somehow or another.
So that's one reason I haven't done one of those guides on the electronics, is I'm not an electronics guru myself.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you figured out the wiring for these lights on this thing, you're better at it than I am. And that's pretty funny, because back when I got out of the Army, I thought I wanted to go into microelectronics. So I started a tech school going for microelectronics. Yeah, that didn't pan out.
We all have our niches.
Right. Yeah, I write software for a living. I'll stick with software.
Well, I was thinking of rewriting the Arduino code to run NeoPixels, because that's what I've used in the Atlantis gate.
Well, see, now that would be cool if you, but NeoPixels would be too big for the Stargate, right?
No, I have NeoPixels in the Atlantis one.
No, the Mark II, they would be too big.
I have small NeoPixels in that one. The other one.
Oh yeah.
3 millimeters, I think, in size.
Oh, well, I don't think that's the ones that are in the build of materials, right?
On the Atlantis one, or?
Oh no, on the Mark II.
I didn't know about NeoPixels back then. So
I got you. But I don't think NeoPixels would actually fit in there, in the space that you have. Another thing I've noticed that when I printed this, was that you have to kind of put it together and line it up as you put it together, because I had this, like, all of these rings were glued together and they're a little off. They're not quite exact. You know what I mean? And it's due to printing. It's not due to the model. So, and how many of these have you done? Just one of each?
Just one of each, yeah.
Okay. Did you have any issues with that? Or did you glue it did you do it as you went? You put the pieces in as you went around?
I think I started with the back piece and the rail guide and glued the two of them together as I went round in a circle.
Okay, yeah, no, that's what I didn't do. I glued them all together and then was going to set them on top of each other, and they didn't quite fit.
Well, one problem with that may be the age of the model. The Mark I gate was designed when I had the cupcake printer,
Right.
and although I couldn't print the Stargate on it, I noticed obviously the variation in, if you print two models too close, they wouldn't fit. So I had to design a tolerance into the model so that when it printed, they would actually line up.
I got you.
With better printers, that tolerance probably needs to be reduced, maybe.
Well, I think that's what I ran into, because it's not much. You know, it's a couple millimeters as you get the circle complete, and it would work. It just doesn't look quite right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there's a 0.5 millimeter gap between all the pieces in the CAD file to accommodate the original printing requirements.
Yeah. Well, Andrew asked, how does it feel to see your design going further? And if possible, what would you like to see people doing to the design? What would you like to see people improving on or doing with it?
I think it's wonderful to see people actually using something I designed and just put out there. As for seeing people, yeah, as we've seen with the DHD and all those pieces, just seeing people improve it or use it the way they want to use it.
Now, how surprised were you when you put this out there with the popularity and acceptance of the Stargate?
I was surprised that it did get popular. I was expecting people to see it and just think too complicated, too problematic.
Well, I noticed that on your website you have models for the Millennium Falcon.
Yes, I think that was the first one I designed.
Yeah, so you are there any other sci-fi series? That's a good question, Sean Gould, that you'd like to see someone or you release models for? I mean,
I've played around with some models in the past. I did a Battlestar Galactica, which didn't print very well at all. I was going to turn it into a USB memory stick. So you pull the front of the ship off, and there's your USB plug.
Right. Yeah, there are several puddle jumpers that people have done. I'd like to see one, like, that you could mash a button on and the wings actually pop out like they do on the show itself. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, and probably quite easy, really. I guess to design it with a few gears in it.
Right. Working Babylon 5 would be awesome, and the HK from Terminator. Oh,
So many
he's working
ideas
on that. Andrew S is working on that.
on the Terminator.
Yeah. And then Duo's
Red Eye.
Yeah, and Duo's got a great puddle jumper idea. Now, Duo, we're not talking about jumping in a puddle, right? You know that, right? You have to watch these guys sometimes. Now, the community is great. Now, how involved are you in the 3D printing community? I mean, you said this is your first live stream on YouTube, but how involved are you in the 3D printing community? I mean, do you keep up with it? You know a lot of people in the 3D printing community, or you just do your models and that's your thing?
I follow it, but I haven't been involved with it, so I don't know many people, or I haven't really spent a lot of time with people who do a lot of the 3D printed stuff. To be honest, something I'd probably like to change a bit, but just haven't got around to doing.
Okay. I know it's the community is what got me started. I mean, I started 3D printing because 3D printers were cheap and I could afford one and I thought it was cool. But then once I started digging in, the community as a whole is what's kept me motivated in the 3D printing. It's amazing the amount of people that are willing to help and just do things for you and to help you out. Like I said, most of the wiring, actually all of the wiring, the components, everything was sent in by the community, by country clubbers. I mean, they're fantastic. So I mean, it's if you're not in the community, you're missing out. But
I agree.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, life gets in the way too. Like I said, it's one of those things where, life comes first and everything else comes second. But oh Lord.
Yeah, as I said, I probably would like to get a bit more involved in the community. Seeing some of the comments on the Stargate is what prompted me to look at designing the universe gate.
Well, now I'm going to ask you this: what is your favorite? And Stargate aside, what's your favorite thing you've ever printed?
I think the rear window of the Atlantis gate. I like that. That's nice.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, it's different in the UK and Scotland. 3D printing isn't as big, I guess. I don't know if it's, well, it can't be as big. There's not as many people, but but my thing is, I don't know that it's population wise. I don't know that the ratio is any smaller in the UK and Scotland. I think it's just that it's not as organized and it's quieter, because like you, if you hadn't released your Stargate and all that stuff, nobody would have ever known you did any 3D printing, right?
Yeah.
And for the most part, I mean, nobody knows your name. I didn't know your name until you put it in the email. All I knew was Glitch. Where did that come from, by the way? The Glitch.
That's a username I've used a long time ago.
Oh yeah. No,
So just kept it going.
no special meaning or anything like that.
Um, when I was younger, I was a fan of the Reboot animated TV show,
Yeah.
and the hero Bob had a mechanical thing on his arm called Glitch.
Ah, I got you. I got you. Carl says it only takes one good idea to become famous. That's right, Carl. You should know. He designed that. He designed that new belt printer. The White Knight. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but it's a pretty cool printer.
I did. I watched one of your interviews before this one to
Oh yeah.
see how rough you were going to be.
Yeah, I'm not very rough, man. I enjoy just sitting back and talking. That's what most people are like. I don't know about interview style. It's just a chat, man, that other people get to listen in on.
As you said about the community, the Stargate I designed, it only got popular once Kara actually made it with the Arduino. She's the one that added the Arduino to the original model, and that's the one that actually became popular.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, right. Carl's right. I was harder on him, but yeah, nobody knew who I was until I printed a printer. That's my big thing. Is that this over here in the corner, and then I printed another one like a dummy. So nobody knew who I was either. And then I printed a 3D printer, and everybody was like, "Oh, that's cool." So that's where I came from. Colin Hill says, "Loud, obnoxious Americans." That's right, we are. We are very, very loud. And I don't understand that. I really don't, because I don't think I'm talking loud, but other people will be like, "Man, you're pretty loud."
No, I don't think so.
Guess it's the way we're raised, I guess. So I mean, I understand you started on the universe, and that's going to take a while. But what is your next thing? I mean, you're not printing another Stargate anytime soon. And I can understand with that, if you're having to put everything on a raft. Yeah, I couldn't do that either. That's you and my hat's off to you if everything you printed behind you there had a raft on it.
Yep, everything had a raft.
Oh man, I get so upset because normally it's very tiny things that I have to use a raft for. Something that's too small maybe to stick on the bed. But oh, that had to have that had to have taken a while just to clean up.
The rafts come off pretty good, so the cleanup's not too bad on that, to be honest.
Okay, good. I've had rafts that you couldn't get off of before, so.
But it's the time. I mean, if you think of the base, which is the full size of the build platform, and you're basically building a raft that same size. So you can be an hour, 2 hours just building a raft.
Just building a raft, right? Yeah, no, mine. Hold on, let me grab it. They can't see me, so. Oh, come on. So, there it is. Yeah, I actually have mine here, and they can't see it, but you can. I guess you can. This was printed in one shot with no raft. And
when I tried to print the full base, it actually did start to curl up. So I had to, even with the raft, so I had to split it in half.
This is actually the second one that I printed. I printed this twice. The first one I printed, I had a lot of under extrusion, and the mounts where the motors go were breaking, so I didn't get to use that one. So I'm like, okay, I'll print another one. Oh, John from You Do It's here.
Hello, John.
Oh, there you go. Carl's got a good idea. We could do Chris's hang printer and a bunch of filament and have a life-size gate. That would be awesome. We could put that outside, but I think we'd have to have something more than a NEMA 17 to drive it. If it was life-size.
Or some good bearings.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, all right, guys, if y'all have any questions for David, I mean, the hour goes by quick. We're almost there.
The biggest question I get recently is when do I release the source code or the code for the Atlantis dialing gate?
So, are you going to release it?
Well, what you can see it doing there is only about a day or two old.
Oh, I got you. I got you.
There's a wiring fault in the gate, so I couldn't program it because I couldn't see it.
Ah.
So I had to take it apart, which I only done this weekend. So it looks like it's working okay. So I think some documentation in the code, and I'll put it up in the next week or so, probably.
That's got to be fun. Now, do you have a link to your GitHub or whatever for your Arduino on the website?
I haven't got a GitHub.
Okay, so where do you release your Arduino code at? It's just in the models, right?
Yeah, it'll be on Thingiverse and on the website.
Okay, so it is on Thingiverse. All right, and on the website. All right, cool.
Or will be, yeah.
I got you. I got you. So you did the Arduino code for the Mark II is out there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't looked. I haven't looked at all to see what the code is or anything. I'm not that far along yet, so forgive me about that. So there is no GitHub Duo. There is go to the website or Thingiverse, download the models, and there you go.
I think the website might just link to Thingiverse, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it does. I think it does. You're most of it links to there. Now, I thought at one time I saw a video of the Atlantis gate actually dialing. And I couldn't find that today. I was looking for that today, and I couldn't find it. Is there a video of the Atlantis gate actually dialing?
Yes, the original video, it's on the website. It starts off orange and then dials and changes to blue.
Oh, okay. I was wondering because I called myself looking on the website and couldn't find it.
Yeah, I haven't put much on the website, so it's probably just one or two posts back.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that's another one of those time things where you don't get on there very much.
I only post the models on there, so yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm going back out to the website. So under 3D modeling, Stargate, working Stargate Atlantis.
Probably sneak preview.
Say again?
Is there a post sneak preview on there?
I don't see it. Oh, there we go. Yeah, there's the assembly video. Oh, sneak preview. There it is. Okay. Now I got you. There's the video I was looking for. Yeah, that's the one I'd seen before. Now, has it been as popular as the Mark II?
Not so far, but the Thingiverse model is marked as a work in progress. So whether that has any
Right.
on it, I don't know.
And Andrew S. asked, are there any more iterations coming? I guess there is on Atlantis, right? Because it is a work in progress.
Probably no more changes to the model. Probably just the code.
Okay.
But I was waiting for some feedback maybe on the Atlantis gate to see if people have trouble with it and obviously modify it accordingly.
Well, let me finish the first one first, and then I'll print the other one. I think they would hang me if I didn't get done with one first before I started printing the next one.
And there's a lot more LEDs in the other one.
Yeah, as long as they're not those grains of sand that you have to solder to, I'll be okay with it. Because when I got those SMD LEDs, I was like, I can't even see that. And I used my little magnifying glass, and I still couldn't see it. So it's solder too. So, but it's been fun. It's been fun. Like I said, I wanted to take my time. I didn't want to rush it. I didn't want to just go, okay, let's print it, let's build it, get it done. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to take my time, stretch it out. It makes for good YouTube content for me, except for people getting mad because I'm not working on it. So
far.
Say again.
Looking good so far.
Yeah, it's getting there. Oh, Carl says that's because we're old. Yeah, we are old. We're getting there anyway. I'm not old yet.
What is old? Only what you feel.
No, there's a time where you're just old. I don't care how young you feel. You're just old.
Yes, I have some gray in the beard, so.
You know, it's funny. It's funny because I'm 46, and mine's a lot of gray. But my family, they gray early, so you know, I guess it's appropriate with my last name being Gray.
Yeah.
How about a conveyor belt on the stairs to send up a mini Kurt Russell and have a blast of compressed air send him across the galaxy? Some of the ideas. So with the NeoPixels, are you addressing each LED or just one color pattern timed in the code?
Each LED.
Each LED. All right, good. All right, guys, look, if y'all don't have any more questions, David, is there anything else you want these people to know, man?
If you've got any feedback on the gates, just send it across or post it on the models. I can only improve them if I know what's wrong with them.
Well, not to let me do one. That's probably one of the biggest things that you'll get.
Well, you have to do all three of them, Walter.
I have to do all three of them. Well, you got to finish the third one, right?
Well, I might finish it before you finish yours.
But yeah, you might finish it before I finish the first one. Now, like I said, I really want to have it done by October, and but that that's going to be a stretch because I've never done the diorama thing either, and so that's going to be new to me as well. We'll find out.
If you want to change the base, just let me know. I'm sure I can make a few mods for you, make it fit.
Well, let me get it together and working, and then see how we're going to mount this. Because if I get it together and working, and I can't get it done in the diorama in time for Earth, that's fine. I would still take the gate for people to see. You know, I want to get the base gate working. Then I've got the DHD printed. I want to get the DHD working because I think that's a cool add-on to this. And then once I get that done, then I'll worry about the diorama stuff. And if I can get that done, then it'll just be awesome. It's just, a little bit at a time. Like you said, it's just a time thing.
Yes. You can look at the whole thing, the gate, the DHD, the diorama, and you can look at it all and think that's just too much. So yeah, you need to break it down into your small steps, I think, isn't it? That's the best way to get it done.
Yeah, David, if you could do an open base for the MK2 as well with no steps. The problem is that with the base, with the steps, it gives you the platform to keep it from being so top heavy, right? It gives you a base to actually hold it up.
Yeah.
So, it'd be difficult to, I guess you wouldn't even have to have the steps on it. I could leave the steps and all off of it, mount the other stuff on it. So I wouldn't even have to have the steps,
Yeah, the ramp you could leave off. It depends whether you wanted those side LEDs or not.
Yeah, and I've got those too. I've got all the side LEDs. Oh, I printed those on the resin printer as well. Those lens covers that go in there. So those should look pretty good. I'm hoping once I get this done. But all right, here's what I'm going to do, David. I'm going to say goodbye to these folks, and I'll come back to you as soon as I'm done. All right.
No problem. Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
All right, guys, this was David. glitch.org.uk, the maker of Stargates. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of the Kuntry Klub, and I hope you come back at a later date. If you're not subscribed, click subscribe, ring that bell, which I'm pretty sure you are because you're here. But thank you, David. Appreciate you being here, and we'll see you the next time, guys.